I want to start by saying that I have a complicated relationship with anti-Semitism. I remember while I was an undergrad that a lot of times when the word anti-Semitism came up, it often felt like it was rooted in this trauma where people were talking about an anti-Semitism that I wasn't really seeing in the world anymore. It was really the anti-Semitism of our parents and our grandparents' generation, and it felt like we were really touching on these trauma points that never had been healed from, and that we were coming from a place of fear. And I also felt like a lot of times it was being used to prevent us from having difficult conversations that we really needed to be having, where we might be wrestling with something, especially around Israel, where there are complicated issues that we do need to wrestle with, and that sometimes it felt like we were using anti-Semitism as the end, the kind of quash that no matter what, sorry, you cannot continue with this conversation, is anti-Semitism. So I remember thinking to myself, you know what? I'm not going to call anything, like, anti-Semitism doesn't really exist anymore. I'm not going to call anything anti-Semitism because I think it's not being used correctly. The term, the idea, whatever. And then I started to realize that that's not the answer either. I have experienced anti-Semitism, and in a lot of the ways, they are these small moments that I can't really remember all of the words, but I can remember how they made me feel, that they made me feel as though I was unsafe, or that I couldn't trust somebody anymore. And I remember especially that a moment on Twitter where somebody was coming after some members of my family, and they were even threatening to come to our house and talking about gas chambers. And it was one of the moments that I couldn't erase from my brain, that my family could not be safe. And it's not just, do I wear my Magen David to the grocery store? It's not just, can I wear this t-shirt that has something that talks about Judaism? Sometimes it's literally just being. And so it's during those moments when we feel like, I don't even know if I'm safe to exist, that it might feel like that's when we need to put up the gates, and we need to add extra locks on our hearts, and we need to hide ourselves. And so that's why it's so, so important that we have this opportunity to say, here I am, and here we are. It is so important to allow ourselves to be present in our fullness of self, because when we do so, we give others the opportunity to do so as well. It is an incredible blessing, both for ourselves and for the world around us, to say, here I am, here we are. And so in this upcoming year, I hope that we'll take opportunities to share our stories and to hear the stories of one another.